Hello everyone, Brigosaurus227 here. My last video was about the best Nerf blasters of the year, my picks for the best Nerf blasters of the year. It wasn't really a top 5 list, but it was just kind of a recommendations list. Well, today we actually do have a top 5 list, and I'm going to be talking about the top 5 worst blasters of the year. These are the blasters you should 100% avoid this year, or at least be cautious when buying them. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, before we jump into the top 5, I'm going to give a couple honorable mentions. First, I have the Nerf Rival Mirage. Now this blaster is almost good, but the main problems all come down to this priming handle and the prime itself. First off, this priming handle is very sleek and there's not much surface area to grab onto. It's a very short prime, but it's also very stiff. And that causes a lot of jamming issues because you're having to concentrate on getting this prime down and you're going to end up jamming and having a lot of misfeeding issues because this prime is just too much to handle for how small it is. Also, this priming handle is extra cheap, so it's really flimsy when you grab onto it. Again, just the priming handle makes this thing not good at all. But the few redeeming qualities keep it from being on this list because I could recommend it to some people. It does have the nice option of basically being a primary in the size of a sidearm, so that's pretty cool. Another honorable mention for the worst blaster of the year list is basically the entirety of the zombie series. I'm not putting them on the worst because at least all of these do work. The strikeout bat is useless, but it is really cool. The driller actually kind of works pretty well and it's kind of neat. The corruptor is whatever, it's just mid, but all of these blasters are just kind of mediocre. They don't really have any big glaring issues, they're just not that great. There's two more honorable mentions being the Buzzbee Rogue and the Nerf Shadow Storm. Both of these blasters are really weird and they feel like they shouldn't exist. The Rogue is really weird because basically it's just a Spectrum, but it doesn't have any of the power a Spectrum has, and it's really big and clunky. And then right down here you have the Shadow Storm, and that's just a really weird internal mag blaster when you have the Strike Back, which is so much better for $5 cheaper. And also that in-strike barrel lug, yeah, it's not compatible with in-strike barrels, which is stupid because N1 darts can't fit through in-strike barrels. It's a really weird choice. They're both really weird blasters, but they're not overtly bad. They both at least work, so that is something to root for. That's the only reason I'm not putting these on the list. Alright, with the honorable mentions out of the way, let's get to the actual top 5. Number 5, I have the Nerf N-Series Pinpoint. Now, I actually recently discovered the blaster itself isn't that bad. It's actually functional. While there is still complaints I have about the shell quality being inconsistent, one part inconsistent on the other, it's still a relatively comfortable blaster with a somewhat short stock. It's not really that bad at all. It does have a nice feel and balance to it, but the big problem comes with the mag that's included with the blaster. And the 10-round mag is absolutely crap. Now, it's not crap for every single unit, but there are a good chunk of people who are having the issue of it, basically the mag feeding issues. The mag won't feed properly into the chamber, and it ends up where you get jams, squibs, all kinds of crazy things. I discovered that it was the fault of the mag when I actually shot this with the Nerf Sprinter mag, and the Sprinter mag works way better in this thing and it feeds perfectly. And I also tested the 10-round mags on the Sprinter and they would jam up a lot as well. So yeah, it's not really a problem with the blaster, but the mag included with the blaster. So I can't recommend the blaster unless you're willing to go out and buy a Sprinter mag, or if you want to gamble and hopefully get a good Pinpoint mag, which some people have gotten good Pinpoint mags. But yeah, this is still not good because the main thing that what makes the blaster function is kind of broken, and as of now they don't sell any N1 mags, so yeah, not really a good blaster at all. One of the worst of the year in my opinion. Fourth place is going to get a lot of people mad, but I have the Dart Zone Adventure Force Maxim Pro. Now please don't click off the video. There is a reason why I do not like this blaster, and mainly because it kind of doesn't work. The internals are really cheap. For some reason it has a thermistor. The reason it has a thermistor is to try to keep the blaster from overloading the motors. And a pro blaster shouldn't need a thermistor, but it has a thermistor anyway. So that should, set up some alarms already. But even with the thermistor, the rev switch is prone to burning out. Not just on like a 3S LiPo or anything. It does burn out on 3S LiPo pretty much every single time. So if you're going to shoot this with a 3S LiPo, with the XT30 connector, you're definitely going to want to, upgrade the switch. But even on stock AA's, it is burning out, which is absolutely crazy. The only battery that people have used that I see that people haven't had burnouts with, the only battery that I've seen that this hasn't burned out on is the 2S Li-ion Venom Pro battery. But pretty much any other battery, if you do a 2S LiPo, it's going to burn out. With 3S, it's going to definitely burn out. And even with stock AA's, there's a small chance, or a good chance, that it can burn out. I have many, many instances of people's burning out on stock AA configuration, which is absolutely crazy. Now, I also got a lot of comments in my review of people getting upset saying, well, mine didn't burn out, it's fine, I think you're just complaining, you're nitpicking. I'm being honest. When you don't know if a product is going to work, then yeah, you can't really recommend it. Now, mine didn't burn out, but when I was shooting it with AA's, I did start to smell a really bad burning smell, and it was really bad. A blaster shouldn't be having a burning smell, okay guys? I think we can all agree on that. There's definitely something wrong here, and it goes back to Dart Zone kind of cheaping out in the internals. They've been doing this with their flywheelers, the Pro flywheelers specifically, but they've been doing it for a long time. Everyone was reporting burnouts with the MK3. The first gen Omnia had a lot of burnout issues. The second gen and third gen don't seem to have as much, but there's still some reported ones. Not as much though as the Maxim. The Maxim has a lot of burnout issues, and it's kind of crazy. Dart Zone needs to really fix this soon. If they just raise the price from $40 to $50 and put that extra money into fixing the internals and upgrading it, making it a little bit more robust, no one would have complained. It would have been fine. But no, they had to rush this down and compete with a Stripe X. It's stupid. It really makes me upset. We give Hasbro a lot of crap for their mistakes. We need to do the same for Dart Zone. Speaking of Hasbro, number 3, we have the Nerf Pro Cinder. Now, this blaster is straight up dookie. I don't know why I said dookie. I'm not 5-year-old. I'm not going to tell you my age. That's private information. What's really crazy about the Cinder is that it's a Pro Raven. You can't mess up a Pro Raven, and yet they messed up the Pro Raven. I mean, what's the deal with this? Why do you have Hasbro? Why? This blaster has a lot of issues, and I actually reviewed it. I have the review filmed. I need to finish editing it, but I don't have the blaster on me right now because I returned it. I straight up returned it. I did not want to waste my money on that thing. I wanted to spend it on something else and something better, and that I did. I'll show you that some other time. But this blaster has so many issues, from insane bog down, and I mean insane bog down with stock AA batteries. Constant squibs when you're shooting darts. It's really weird because, like, it's not just with the Nerf Pro darts. Pretty much any dart it'll squib with. It's really, really weird. And also, it's completely inaccurate because the flywheel cages are misaligned. Every other dart you shoot is not going to hit your target. I was doing a test, and I got this on live stream, but I don't think I got the shooting on live stream. I was kind of shooting off screen, but you have to take my word for it. I was shooting at a pillow about this wide. It was like this tall. It was a really big pillow. It was 10 feet away, sitting on a chair. I was aiming at it. I have pretty darn good aim. It's not like insane or anything, but I've been doing this for a while, okay? I can hit a target. And you think, with a 150 FPS Pro flywheeler, you should be able to hit a giant pillow from 10 feet away. Well, every other shot, it would just go off to the side, and I couldn't hit the freaking pillow from 10 feet away. I got like 3 shots on the pillow. Everything else was going here, 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 here. It is absolutely ridiculous how inconsistent this blaster is. There's no reason it should be like that. Why am I doing all of these emotes? Now I'm Italian all of a sudden. Another really terrible thing about the blaster is no stocks don't fit on it. I was shouldering a regulator stock and it snapped right off. Actually, it ended up putting stress marks on my regulator stock. The Cinder damaged my property. The Cinder is an illegal criminal. So the very nice feature that Hasbro is so great to include doesn't even work. The Cinder makes me mad. Let's move on. Now, number 2 is going to be one I'm going to get a lot of hate for because I actually don't own it, and that is the Siren Mauler. This blaster is absolute crap in almost every single way. Not only is it a bad blaster, but the company and the way this thing is marketed makes my blood boil, and there's quite a few problems with that. So first I'm going to talk about the issues this blaster has. First off, the grip is absolutely atrocious. It's terrible. The foregrip is way too tiny. I know this because I've asked almost everyone in the hobby that I know that has one, and only one person said they liked the grip. There was about 15 other people who said, this grip sucks. Watch any review of it that wasn't sponsored by Siren, I'll get into that later, but watch any objective review of it, and they'll tell you this grip sucks. But it gets even worse, because the foregrip is really tiny, and it's not Picatinny rail compatible. You can't switch it out. The only thing you can really switch it out with is the 3D printed grip that Drac made. And that's one grip that you can switch it out with. You have one other option. It's not a pick rail grip. They could have easily done a pick rail grip. It's not that hard. This blaster also doesn't have a scar barrel, which really sucks. Now granted, you can open it up and install a scar barrel, kind of, but you have to do some work with that, and that's something you have to do a lot of work with. Again, that's something you have to do to the blaster. You can't just slap it on there, which really sucks. Also, the metal barrel that it has is a little bit more tighter than the standard metal barrel, which means it's only going to work with the Siren kind of foam darts that use the ultra foam. Now, it does technically work with other standard foam darts, but it doesn't work well at all. Usually a dart will get stuck in the barrel, it'll squib, or it'll be inaccurate. And the included Siren darts are absolute crap. Now, they seem good at first, but after a while they deteriorate very quickly. In fact, there's a warning on the blaster that says, do not fire at objects from 20 feet away. That's not a safety warning. Nope, that's a warning to keep you from shooting the dart at a wall from 20 feet away. Because if you do that, after one shot or two shots maybe, the dart will snap in half. It will snap in half. The prime on this, from what I hear, is absolutely atrocious too. Even on the lower setting, it's atrocious. And that wouldn't necessarily be a problem if the grips were comfortable. And it gets even worse when you look at Siren's business practices. They seem to be sending units that actually function quite well, that shoot standard kind of half-length darts really good, that are a little bit more smoother to operate. They still have the bad grip, but they're still a little bit better. They shoot a little bit more accurately. They're still just like actually usable. But those are being sent to reviewers from Siren. The ones sent to FoamQuest, Wacom, Not Enough Nerf, who else got them? I don't know. A lot of different people got them. Those ones are good samples. Now, from what I hear with Wacom, they told him he couldn't say certain things about this blaster, so that kind of sucks. But as far as FoamQuest goes, he is an honest reviewer. He doesn't, he doesn't lie about something just because the company tells him to, and he wouldn't have accepted it if the company said he had to lie about the product. But he had one that worked just fine. That's because the company is making sure that the ones they're sending out, the blasters they're sending out, are made well and they're putting quality control effort into it. But the products that are being sold to other people on shelves or online, because they're not really actually on shelves yet, those products that are going out to the consumers, the customers, those aren't being checked. And sometimes they seem to almost be dirty. There's been reports of them just being dirty out of the box. It's really weird. And it really sucks because companies shouldn't be doing that. Now, it may have to do with the marketing department or something. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I'm not going to dog on the company just yet. But it makes me really suspicious, and their business practice just seems kind of sketchy to me. Not to mention their product's kind of crap, at least what they're giving to the consumers. Like, take Captain Xavier, for example. He didn't get sent one from Siren. He bought them himself. Watch his review on the Mauler and even the Gnarl. He gives an honest opinion on those blasters, and it's kind of eye-opening. Now, the Blink is really, really good, and the Gnarl is okay. But the Mauler is absolute garbage, and it's terrible. It's one of the worst Pro Blasters this year, and one of the worst Pro Springers this year. Actually, it's the worst Pro Springer this year. Oh, wait. Oh, no. I forgot. There's one more Pro Springer this year. Guys, I'm a Christian. I'm trying my absolute best not to cuss up a freaking storm while talking about this blaster. This is the Nerf Pro Torrent. This is one of the worst blasters ever made. In fact, it's on my top 10 list of the worst blasters ever made. And what makes this blaster so much worse is when you first get it, it works fine. It's so nice. I mean, sure, there's a lot of issues, and I'll get into those later, but it's kind of nice. And then you start to get issues. You start to notice things, and it happens slowly and painfully, where you absolutely love the blaster at first. A month later, you want to destroy it. You want to destroy it with fire. So I'm going to go in the order of the issues that I encountered. So first, I started noticing, oh yeah, that's a really gritty prime. And I actually figured out that the gritty prime was because there's pieces of plastic attached to the side of the priming handle, and they didn't center it properly, so it's basically scraping against the inside of the blaster. And it's the most disgusting prime ever. Now I went in and filed those down, but I had to take it apart. I had to spend at least 40 minutes dribbling that off. It was a nightmare. But once I got that, the prime is nice and smooth. That's not even the only problem. This blaster jams, and it jams a lot. At first it started gradually, only with ember darts. Then it started to happen with every single dart I used. Every dart. No dart was safe. Nitro shots, Nerf Pros, especially Nerf Pros are jam. Ruby darts, heck, even Worker Gen 3s. Gen 3s that are designed for springers jammed in this blaster. It kept getting worse and worse and worse to now where I can't shoot a whole mag off. I haven't been able to shoot a whole mag off without it jamming. I've tried to shoot a whole mag off at least 40 different times. I'm not even joking. That's not an exaggeration. I literally tried 40 times to shoot off a mag without jamming. It jammed. And many times it would jam up to 4 shots of mag, even 5 shots of mag one time. It's really bad. The jamming is absolutely insanely bad. It jams like a ton. And not only that, even when there are shots, there's a 50-50 chance that it's going to squid. At least now it does. It gets worse over time, okay? The blaster constantly locks up for no reason at all. I'm dry firing it out because I can't even use it regularly, but listen to how quiet it is. This is a Pro blaster. It did not sound like that when I first got it. Listen. Here's a Maverick. An N-Strike Maverick. Now here's the 150 FPS Nerf Pro freaking piece of crap Torrent. What is that? And no, I'm not the only one. There are a few people that have gotten good Torrents. Like 3 I know. And there are a lot of people I know who have Torrents, okay? I'm well versed in the Nerf community. Everyone else has had jams and malfunctions with them. It has gotten worse and worse and worse. This blaster is an absolute piece of garbage. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, it kind of has slam fire. At least some people had slam fire with theirs, but this doesn't. I don't know if Hasbro's trying to stop slam fire, but if you are Hasbro,
I will look for you. I will find you.
And I'm gonna make you watch all the Sharknado movies. This blaster is an absolute piece of crap. It's one of the worst blasters ever. In fact, I'm probably going to end up just salvaging the spring out of this because I can't physically use this. It is an absolute piece of garbage. That was my Lego set. Crap. Why do I keep throwing stuff at my Lego set? It's still a piece of garbage. Frick the Torrent. The worst blaster of the year. And one of the worst blasters of all time. Ah, my knee! Anyway, guys, those are my picks for the top 5 worst blasters of the year. Some of these are controversial, some of them aren't. Let me know what your top 5 worst or your picks for the top 5 worst would be in the comments. This is not an objective fact except for the Torrent. The Torrent is objectively the worst blaster of the year. I'm not going to argue on that. But everything else I can see being subjective. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think was unfair about my video? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you on the next one. I do have a quick question before you go, though. Would you guys like to see me do a top 5 favorite list? I did do a top, like a best blasters recommendation list, but I didn't do a top 5 favorites, like my personal favorites of the year. If you'd like to see that, let me know. If not, then I won't bother with it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you on the next one. My next video will probably be the Cinder review because I do have that filmed. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Where's the Torrent? I'm gonna find him. Oh, there you are. Bye-bye.
My junk drawer, my junk drawer. So many things I don't know what they're for, but I won't let it go. No, I will add more useless little things to my junk drawer.